To be honest, in the world now we're people because of him, right? It's not just about what he does for us where we live. It's really about now I'm a person. Now people listen to me because he made that door for me. He made that leeway. He made me the person who I am today. And I can never say I owe my life to anyone more than that.
It has been heavily alleged that former Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe's son has been living in South Africa illegally. But is it true or is it false? In this video, I will show you exactly how Mugabe's son is part of a deep criminal syndicate and how his co-accused is actually using a completely fake name to hide his tracks. I am going to show you his real identity and connect all the dots for you. So please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let us take our time to really unpack this massive story. Welcome back, everyone. I want you to just grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and really listen to this one. We are not going to rush today. We need to look at the facts, look at the history, and look at the streets, because what is happening right now with Bellarmine Chatunga Mugabe is not just a simple news headline. It is a window into a massive, dark world of wealth, deception, and survival. Let us start from the very beginning, setting the scene so we all understand the gravity of what we are dealing with here. We are talking about Chatunga, the youngest son of the late Robert Mugabe. He is around 28 or 29 years old now. A few days ago, he was arrested in Johannesburg, but he was not arrested for something minor. He was arrested in connection with a shooting at a house in Hyde Park. Now, if you know Johannesburg, you know Hyde Park. This is not just a regular suburb. This is where the absolute elite live. We are talking about massive mansions, high walls, luxury cars, and serious, serious money. Even the president of South Africa has a residence in that area. So, on February 19th, 2026, violence erupted in this incredibly secure, wealthy bubble. A 23-year-old gardener was shot in the back. As we speak, that young man is lying in a hospital bed, fighting for his life, with the police standing guard over him. Just take a second to think about that. A young guy, probably just trying to earn a living, caught in the crossfire of whatever dark business was happening in that house. The police arrive, and things are immediately suspicious. They search the property. They even bring in sniffer dogs and police divers to search the area, looking for the weapon. The gun is nowhere to be found. It vanished. So, Chatunga and his associate are taken in. They show up in court a few days later, both dressed in black, looking incredibly serious. They are facing heavy charges: attempted murder, defeating the ends of justice, and possession of an unlicensed firearm. The magistrate looked at the situation and said, absolutely no bail right now. They are sitting in a jail cell until at least March 3rd. This brings us to the first massive question that everyone is asking online. Was Chatunga even living in South Africa legally? South Africa has very strict immigration laws, and the tension around foreign nationals is always high. So, how does the son of a former president just live there, seemingly off the grid, until a shooting happens? Let us break this down using simple logic. There is a huge rumor that Chatunga carries a red diplomatic passport. Back when his father was running the country, this family had absolute power. A red passport is basically a golden ticket. It is meant for diplomats traveling on official state business. It means your bags are not searched, you bypass normal immigration lines, and you generally have diplomatic immunity. When you have that passport, the normal rules do not apply to you. But here is where the reality check comes in. Robert Mugabe has been out of power since 2017, and he passed away in 2019. Chatunga is a grown man. He is not a diplomat representing Zimbabwe on official business. He is a private citizen living a very flashy lifestyle in Johannesburg. International law experts, like Dr. Gideon Chitanga, have been very clear about this. You do not just get to keep diplomatic immunity for life to cover up private crimes. Even if he managed to hold on to an old red passport or somehow got a new one through back channels, you cannot wave a red booklet in the air after a man gets shot in the back. It does not work like that. His mother, Grace Mugabe, actually tried this exact same trick back in 2017. She was accused of assaulting a young model in a hotel in Sandton. She claimed diplomatic immunity and managed to slip out of the country. but it caused a massive diplomatic nightmare, and the South African courts actually overturned that immunity later on. The courts ruled it was illegal. So, to answer the question, is Chatunga living there illegally? If he is relying on an expired or invalid diplomatic passport to avoid getting a proper visa like a normal person, then yes, his status is highly compromised. He is likely slipping through the cracks of a broken system, relying on the fear and respect his father's name used to command. But when the bullets start flying, that name cannot save you from the police. But honestly, the passport issue is just the tip of the iceberg. The real story, the brutal truth of what is going on here, is sitting right next to him in the dock. Let us talk about his co-accused. On the official police charge sheet and in all the court documents, the man arrested alongside Chatunga is named as Tobias Mugabe Matonhodze. When I first read that, I stopped. I had to read it twice. Another Mugabe? Who on earth is Tobias Mugabe? The media just reported it as fact. But the internet never sleeps, and the Zimbabwean community is incredibly connected. People started looking at the photos from the courtroom, looking at this heavy-set guy in the black jacket, and the alarm bells started ringing. This guy is not a Mugabe. He is using a completely fake identity. Let us look at the evidence, because I want you to see exactly how this was exposed. I have these screenshots from Facebook, and I am going to read the comments out loud for you. This is a thread where people are just completely exposing him. First, we have a user named Tanaka Mumba who writes, Dagi Makaya Hama Yahidza. In simple terms, they are identifying him as Dagi Makaya and linking him to specific family ties back home. Then, right below that, a user named Lexter Mupi Munyimwa drops an entirely different name. He says his real name is Frank Karamuna. Think about that for a second. The court thinks his name is Tobias. Someone else says his name is Dagi. Another person says his name is Frank. Let us keep reading. Nyara Crawford comments, Mungadzi Zive revealing comments. No Matter Boss Bada says, Mazita Ekuzvipa Kuhondo Yep Ajozi. This is incredibly important. If you translate this from Shona, it essentially means these are names he gave himself for the war in Jozi. Jozi being Johannesburg. This person is flat out confirming that people in these syndicates invent names to survive the dangerous, warlike streets of the Johannesburg underworld. Let us look at another screenshot. A woman named D. Teresa comments, that is Dag Makaya, alleged brother to Hillary Makaya. Well, that is who he is on social media. I was shocked he, Tobias Mugabe Matonhodze, and somebody named Sandra Sifiso and Kubi replies to her saying, I was shocked, also Ufung, I knew him from Instagram as Dag. And finally, the piece of evidence that ties it all together perfectly. A guy named Leishman Mabhena comments, I went to high school with this guy. He has assumed many names over the years. Tobias Matonhodze is his real name. The Mugabe part is new. Isu Kuchikoro Taitumuti Tami. That last sentence means, back at school we used to call him Tommy. So, if we take a breath and look at the facts, his real birth name might actually be Tobias Matonhodze or Frank Karamuna, and he goes by Tammy or Dag Makaya on social media. We actually found his Facebook profile under the name Dag Tammy Makaya. The photos on that profile, a guy wearing a blue shirt with a beer bottle and safety goggles from 2021, another photo of him in a red beret standing next to cars. It is undeniably the exact same man sitting in that South African jail cell right now. There are even posts calling him Dag Makaya Chief of Protocol, showing him wearing hard hats, looking like he is involved in the mining sector. So why did he add the name Mugabe to his official court documents? Why is he pretending to be family? This is where we have to do a brutal, analytical deep dive into how criminal syndicates operate. When you are running in the underworld, whether you are dealing in cash, illegal goods, or just trying to navigate the dangerous streets of Johannesburg, your reputation is your shield. The name Mugabe is arguably one of the most powerful, feared names in Southern African history. It represents absolute authority. It represents wealth. It represents untouchability. By taking the name Tobias Mugabe Matonhodze, Dog Makaya was wrapping himself in a bulletproof vest of political intimidation. Imagine you are doing a shady business deal in South Africa. If the people you are dealing with believe you are a direct blood relative of Robert Mugabe, they are not going to mess with you. They will assume you have hitmen. They will assume you have corrupt police on your payroll, and they will assume you have endless amounts of money. Chatunga allowed his friend, his enforcer, or his business partner to use his family name to gain power in the South African underworld. They were misusing the Mugabe name to protect themselves and their operations. But creating a fake identity, lying to the police, and lying to a magistrate is a massive crime on its own. It shows that this was not a simple mistake. This is a calculated, structured criminal operation. But what exactly is the operation? Why does Chatunga have so many millions to live in Hyde Park? And why are they shooting at people? To understand this, we have to follow the money. And all the money leads back to the ground. It leads back to gold. The Mugabe family has been tied to the gold and mining sector in Zimbabwe for decades. This is not a secret. It is a well-documented reality. A few years ago, the international news network Al Jazeera released a massive documentary series exposing the gold mafia in Zimbabwe. They showed how powerful individuals, politically connected elites, and international smugglers work together to loot the country's gold. They mine it, often illegally, and they smuggle it out of the country to places like Dubai, laundering millions upon millions of dollars. We know the family is deeply embedded in this wealth. Just look at the divorce papers of Chatunga's sister, Bona Mugabe. When her divorce went to court, it was revealed that she and her husband possessed assets worth over $80 million. We are talking about massive tracts of land, luxury vehicles, and an insane amount of wealth for people who do not have conventional billionaire business empires. Look at Grace Mugabe. She has historically been accused of using her status to move precious resources out of the country. There were huge controversies around the farms they own in Mazoe, an area very rich in gold. At one point, illegal gold diggers even invaded her farms, and she complained to the police. But the truth is, the family controls massive mining interests in that exact area. In fact, just a year ago, in 2025, Chatunga himself was arrested following a violent altercation at a gold mine in that very same Mazoe district. Reports suggest that he is deeply involved in operations there, allegedly running entities like Maui Minings, moving gold across the borders, and even interacting with the notorious illegal miners in South Africa known as the Zama Zamas.